Okay, I see that attendee number slowing down a little bit, so we're going to get started. Hello, I'm Juliet Bryant. I use she, her, hers pronouns. I'm the Senior Admissions Counselor of Scholar Recruitment at CSU. I'm so glad you all are here. As you may have known, Scholars Day got canceled this year due to a massive snowstorm. We actually didn't get that much snow up here in Fort Collins, but a lot of our attendings were going to be driving through that snow. And so we wanted you all to stay safe. And so this is going to cover some of the information that you would have received during that Scholars Day. But of course, keep on the lookout for other events, things like Choose CSU, which is our admitted student days and other fun tours and days that happen. You should be getting a lot of emails from us throughout this application process. And so if you've never attended one of our webinars, how it works is you should be able to see me and Emily, our guest, and our presentation slides. You can kind of mess around with the settings by going to like the dot, dot, dot menus on the screen. We also have two of our admissions counselors hanging out in the background. And so if you open that Q&A option, you can type in some questions there and our admissions counselors will be getting to them. They can answer a lot of questions, link you to different websites so that you can get that information. But thank you so much for attending this. We'll get started right now. I have a lovely guest with us, Emily Morgan, the Associate Director of Honors at CSU, and she's going to talk a little bit more about the program. She's amazing, wonderful, and kind, and so please give her all your attention.
Thank you so much, Juliet. Hi, everybody. I am super bummed that we didn't get together last month, but I think it was wise that Scholars Day got canceled because a foot of snow is a lot, and some of our attendees were under a foot of snow. So at least we have this plan B, and in this space, inclement weather, not an issue. So pretty excited about that. Sadly, our plan B, however, didn't quite align with our director's plans. Our director of honors, his name is Dr. Sean Bingham, and he's a phenomenal guy. And he's not able to be here with us tonight. And he's pretty bummed about that. However, he does have a really good reason for not being with us tonight. He's currently in Stockholm at the Nobel Museum with one of our honors students who was selected to be a future let me make sure I get it right. A future Nobel laureate scholar. And what they're doing is they are in conversation with people around the world who are all future Nobel laureate scholars. And they're talking about their different projects and ideas and how they can intersect and work together to collaborate to make change happen in the world. So I guess we can forgive Sean right now for being where he's at. He did, however, take a few moments and he made us a little video that we would like to play for you so that he can be here in spirit, even if he's not here because he's, 10 hours ahead of us. Juliet, would you play that video for us?
Welcome to Scholars Day. I know you're in very good hands with Emily Morgan and our students, but I'm still sorry to not be there to meet you today. I'm currently in Stockholm to attend the Nobel
Oh. Juliet, if you're muted, okay.
Welcome to Scholars Day. I know you're in very good hands with Emily.
Okay, let's let it load for a second, apparently, and then we'll get going.
It is a really cool opportunity that he's got going on here. The student who he's with, her name is Riley, and she is a psychology student. I believe she's in her junior, potentially she's a senior. Actually, now that I'm saying it out loud, she is a senior. She'll be graduating in the spring. But she's a psychology student, and she was selected from applicants around the world. And I think that they selected 12 people. I'm going to put in the chat right now a link to that. Let's see. just so that you can take a peek and see what this program's all about and just how cool it actually is. So.
Okay, let's try that again and see
Okay.
if it works.
Morgan and our students, but I'm still sorry to not be there to meet you today. I'm currently in Stockholm to attend the Nobel Dialogues and to watch one of our own CSU honor students, Riley Smith, participate in the dialogues as part of a semester-long experience at the Nobel Institute. Tomorrow, we bring student participants to listen and speak with a panel of past Nobel Prize winners. Even though honors is not running this, it's part of the honors approach of moving beyond textbooks, tests, and classroom walls to explore issues from a lived experience. Riley was one of 10 students selected from around the world to participate in a course that moves far beyond one major or discipline and illustrates an important approach within honors. You're more than your major. You're more than a grade and you're more than a transcript. In fact, none of the students here have attempted to problem solve for their projects by talking about their grades or their ability to take a multiple choice exam, and none have attempted to develop solutions with only one discipline or major as their toolkit. So, some of what we want you to consider is the very real hard work of your life. Careers are important, but you're more than a worker. How do you want to navigate everyday life? Are you resilient? How do you deal with failure? What story beyond grades will you have to tell about yourself after college? I've included some pictures here of an August course that traveled to Copenhagen, Denmark to study the myths and science of happiness. We spent time there exploring a range of factors related to life satisfaction, such as the roles of government, family, schools, cultural practices, meals, trust, and even weather. In short, the students learned that happiness is not completely biological or hardwired, and the complete picture involves almost all the disciplines you might study at CSU, including design, engineering, nutrition, psychology, sociology, and many others. There are both social and individual tools to be gained for better life satisfaction, which is an incredible insight that these 18-year-olds were learning in real time now rather than when they're 50. One of the best parts of my job has been getting to know those students outside the classroom, their challenges, their successes, and even their jokes, even if they come at my expense. So if you're curious, you're open to wandering a bit, maybe honors is for you. Even if you don't recognize the limitations of checklists and you're not comfortable with getting off the beaten path right now, we encourage you to consider honors as a place to experiment beyond the normal classroom approach. Once you leave college, stories matter a lot more than grades. What will be your story and how can we help you get there? Will it be that you built a local festival, conducted research with a faculty member, did an internship abroad, that you learned a dialogue with someone completely different than you that you disagree with? Or will it be that you're very good at bubbling in the right answer to an exam over and over and over? We want to help you write your story. Enjoy the day, be curious, ask questions, make connections. Your story starts now. Thank you very much and have a good day.
All right, so I want to highlight a few things that Sean said in this video in different ways. So the first one is that learning doesn't just happen in a classroom. In fact, the best learning, the most rich, the richest experiences actually happen outside of the classroom. And so that is something that honors is very invested in, is that idea that learning extends beyond a classroom. And then another thing that he mentions is about this idea of storytelling. Like, what is your story? What do you want your story to be? You don't have to have the ending right now. In fact, it's probably better if you don't have the ending right now. Instead, you want it to unfold. And that's what Honors at CSU is here to help you do, is to write your story. So with that being said, we'll go on and we'll talk about this story a little bit. But I'll do it in the framework of what is our program? Like that's a pretty important thing to understand. So Honors at CSU, it's a university-wide program, and it provides highly motivated, innately curious students, just like you guys, a way to intentionally elevate your academic journey as you're here at CSU. So you're gonna go and you're gonna be pursuing your own major, and you're going, as an honors student, it will be a supplement to your major to elevate your experience. We have nearly 2,000 students as part of our program. So these are 2,000 CSU students pursuing various undergraduate degrees. They span across all 8 of our colleges at CSU, and they are part of our honors program. It's about 8% of the CSU population are honors students. So it's an incredibly diverse community. It's big, but it's also diverse, which allows us to really lean into one of our key values, which is this idea of creating an intentional approach to interdisciplinary learning. That's a big word, interdisciplinary learning. So what is that? Well, it's when we take these different things, in this particular instance, disciplines. We take your chemist, we take your engineer, or we take your creative writer, and we intersect those moments where you're engaging with somebody who's different, somebody who's from a different discipline, somebody who has different perspectives, a different way of understanding a topic. And so we put you guys all together, and what ends up happening is this confluence of ideas where, wow, I never considered something that way before. Maybe I should. And all of a sudden, your knowledge of, or your way of understanding the world grows deeper. It transforms. And what we want to do in the honors program is create change makers. We want you to be innovative. We want transformation. And so we're giving you opportunities to create these interdisciplinary experiences so that your learning can be transformative and you can be those change makers. And you might just be like Riley and end up as a future Nobel laureate in Stockholm in December. Why not? It's not outside the realm of possibility. I'm sure when Riley was sitting in your position, she didn't have the faintest idea that she would be in Stockholm a semester before she graduates. Listening to Nobel winners, that's a pretty cool thing. That's a great story to tell. So that's just a little bit about our program, about how when difference converge, transformation happens. And that's the story that we're hoping to help you tell, is how you transformed, how you know and understand the world. So go ahead and go to the next slide. Thank you, Juliet. But stories don't just happen, right? Well, maybe for some people, they just happen. Maybe you're that creative and they just spring into your head fully formed like Athena. But for the most part, stories don't just happen. Most good stories stem from experiences. And that's where honors at CSU really can help you out. As Sean mentioned in the video, learning extends beyond the classroom. So while we do have a curricular structure that we have you all work through, and I'm going to get to that here in just a few minutes, we also really encourage and support our students to get outside and make those experiences happen for themselves. And so what you're seeing right here on this slide, it's an example of a page from our 2023. So it's it's a year old, sorry about that. But it's our 2023 Honors Annual Magazine. And we awarded just shy of $20,000 for students to go and travel abroad, just to travel abroad. That does not include the conferences that we supported. That doesn't include things like the Nobel Laureate program. It doesn't include the different research opportunities that we helped fund. This was just purely an experience of a study abroad opportunity that we funded, nearly $20,000. That put, the other numbers, the 21 and the 12 and the 17, those numbers, that's just one page of 4 pages, I think, that talk about our study abroad programs. So $20,000 across maybe 100 plus students who got to go travel abroad. They got to figure out what could be part of their story. We like providing that kind of support. Anything that will help you have some kind of an experience outside of your classroom walls, we want to try to support. And it does include studying abroad. It also includes all different other walks of life. That's a pretty cool thing. you can begin this kind of experiencing as early as before you start CSU. So the happiness class in Denmark that Sean alluded to in the video, that's actually a first-year experience, a first-year study abroad experience that counts as one of our seminars, and you'll understand what an honor seminar here is as soon as I start talking about the curriculum, but it counts as one of our program requirements. And they spent 10 days in Denmark before the fall semester started. So before they even moved into their dorm rooms, they were boots on ground, having awesome honors experiences with the director of our program. Talk about a stellar beginning to a story. That's the kind of cool stuff that honors can help support. Go ahead and go to the next slide. Like I said, it's not just traveling abroad, though. We have things going on all year long. And so this is just a snapshot of different things that we have going on, such as undergraduate research showcases, where 15 of our students received distinction. Actually, nope, that's wrong. 15 plus 6, what is that, 21? All right, 21 of our students received distinction over 2 different showcases of undergraduate research at CSU. That's huge. Now, that wasn't just all of the participants. Those are the ones who received some kind of high marks, high distinctions. They won in their particular category that they were presenting in. That's big. And so we have that going, things like that going on. We have, of course, our commencement. All of our students do an undergraduate research project, a thesis, prior to graduation. So just in the spring, those 316 graduates were also engaged in original undergraduate research, where they're working closely with faculty members on our campus. And some of these faculty members are renowned researchers in their own field. Temple Grandin has even been one of the people who has been an advocate and a thesis mentor for our thesis projects. So those are some really cool opportunities. We also have peer mentor programs. We have professor lecture series. There we go. There are the right words. So we bring in different people to do some kinds of lecture series for our students. We what else? Oh, and we also have some fun. In the lower right-hand corner, you can see balloons and students posing in funny pictures. Yeah, we do fun stuff too. So we are a community. We are a community who prioritize academics. Absolutely, we are academically invested. However, you're more than just that. And we need you to be more than just that. We need you to have those experiences and let loose a little bit. So every year, right before finals, in fact, we just had it last week, we host something called Nerd Prom. And yeah, students dress up in their fancy clothes and they come and they party. It's great. It's wonderful. It's a great way for students to just release a little bit of steam before they have to get serious again. And we really encourage those kinds of experiences to transpire as well. In short, there's a lot that we do to support the different experiences to help you tell your story. And Juliet, if you want to advance the slide. Maybe you're going to be like Riley, traveling to Stockholm. Maybe you'll be like this student here in the Zoni Hatch, who is a Udall scholarship recipient. Udall scholarships are incredibly competitive, and they're national-based scholarships, and they are quite generous in their awards. So Nizoni is a Udall scholarship recipient, and she was recognized for her leadership and public service as a Navajo woman in the sciences, whose goal is to become a physician serving Navajo Nation. That is impressive in and of itself, right? But then she has an and she wants to investigate environmental health impacts in tribal lands to advocate for health equity for Indigenous peoples. So I had the great fortune of watching Nizoni in one of those undergraduate showcases. I watched her give her research, and she was talking about the discrepancy of the number of cancer patients on Indigenous lands. She's like, it's obscene. It's obscene. There's not enough clean drinking water. There's not enough of this. There's not enough care. There's not, like, she saw all these horrible discrepancies, and she's like, I got to do something about that. Yeah, Mizone is a change maker, and the Udall Scholarships Committee recognized that within her, and so I got to see her shine at the beginning moments and then be absolutely rewarded for her endeavors. Her story is a pretty cool one too, and it was wonderful to watch that unfold. Now, I'm telling you about the stories that have already been written or are currently in progress. Yours hasn't been written yet, and that's good. That's okay. This is a good place to be. Honors at CSU can help you write your story. That's why we want to be part of your lives. Why honors at CSU? Go ahead and advance to the next slide, Juliet. We can help you tell your story, whatever that might be. We can help you provide, we can provide for you the experiences, the inspiration as you work through your undergraduate experience at CSU. We only ask one question on our honors application. Maybe you've already submitted that application. It's possible. We opened it in the beginning of November. But the only question that we're asking is, why honors at CSU? Now, I've given you a pretty big overview of our program. I've shared with you a lot, and I hope that you use that to help answer your question. Well, the majority of what I've expressed so far showcases the outside of the classroom experiences. We do also have the curricular structure students work through as well. And that's also important to understand. And so we're going to get into that just a little bit. Go ahead and advance the slide. Maybe, potentially. Ah, there it is. Okay, cool. So I'm not going to get far into the weeds because with curriculum, yeah, we can get really weedsy really fast, but I don't want to do that. I just want to provide you a sense of what you would be doing academically in the honors program. You'd be working through a series of honors seminars, and you'd be working through a couple of honors courses that are in your major, and you top it all off with an honors thesis. So there's really kind of three big parts and pieces of this: the seminars, the honors courses, and then the thesis. First and foremost, that thesis is way far away. Do not worry about it. I know it's a big, scary word. Don't worry about it. That's a future you problem, and it's not even a problem. It's actually a celebration. And that's all I'm going to say about the thesis. I want to focus on those seminars first. So these seminars are small, discussion-based, student-centered classes that revolve around a topic. They collectively count toward your gen ed requirements. So CSU says, hey, every student that graduates from CSU has to have all of these requirements. These seminars count, let's see, what is it, 18 out of 31 of those gen ed requirements. It's just a different way of completing the work that you're going to have to do at CSU anyway. And it's a really cool way to do it, because what we do with these seminars is we're incredibly intentional with how they are created and how they're delivered, with the pedagogy behind it. What we do is we create these topics, and we don't really even care what the topic is. What we care about is the way you approach the learning about the topic. We want you to read cool stuff about this topic. We want you to write cool stuff about this topic. We want you to talk about cool stuff about this topic. And more importantly, we want you to see this topic 6 ways from Sunday, 7 ways from Sunday. Why not? Because what we care about is those different perspectives and how understanding something in a different way than you normally would approach it can actually help you see it in a deeper, more meaningful light. And so we take these topics and we turn it on its head, and we say, okay, we're going to talk about all these different things about this topic. Go ahead and advance to the next slide so that you can see a sample of some of these seminars that I'm talking about. So these are just titles of the seminars, right? So let's take 20th Century American Gangsters. That's a really fun one. So in 20th Century American Gangsters, that's the topic, right? And in this particular topic, you will probably read a little bit about Bonnie and Clyde, infamous murderers, right? You're definitely going to take a look at the historical lens of this. You're going to know the historical story behind Bonnie and Clyde, but you're also probably going to take a look at the economics. So not just, yeah, it's during the Great Depression, that's more of a historical lens, but maybe the economics of what's going on with the banks at that time? What's going on with lending at that time? What could that do to help inform the reason behind these murderers, these criminals, being so highly regarded and praised during that time period of our history? Like it's a weird phenomenon. And so you can take a look at that economic factor, right? But not only can you take a look at that economic factor, you can also take a look at things like these criminals were able to go on their sprees for a long time, and law enforcement couldn't catch them. Why? Was law enforcement really that bad at the time? Maybe. You could probably dive into that a little bit. But what's even more interesting is to explore the technology that's going on, in particular the cars. And I'm sure we have some car people in the audience today. Clyde's car was a newer, faster model of whatever car, I'm not a car person, but whatever model of whatever cars they were driving. And the law enforcement officers had the slow ones. And so literally the cars, the engineering was what helped these criminals go as long as they were going. And so that's a really interesting way to approach this topic. We're not gonna, you don't have to be a master of the topic. Like, we don't care if you come out knowing everything there is to know about 20th century American gangsters. What we care about is that you're taking a look at the topic in a slightly different manner. And what's also cool is that because these are small seminars, 19 students, 20 students max, and because our program is university-wide, you're sitting, let's see, you might be an engineering student who's sitting next to a creative writer. You guys are going to see the same topic differently, and you're going to inform each other of how your perspectives are different and how that different can help transform how you understand it. And we do this in our seminars, and we repeat it. So our seminars repeat this intentional interdisciplinary approach to learning because we know that that's a skill that needs to be developed. I know it took me a really long time to figure out that I could learn something from an engineer. Very long time to learn that. Yet I'm glad that I finally learned that lesson, but you guys are going to learn it a lot earlier than I did. You're going to learn how different disciplines can work together to be those change makers in the world. And it's a really cool experience. It's a really cool idea. And we want you to take that kind of approach with you into your disciplines. I know that as soon as you get into your major, whatever your major is, your blinders are going to go on, and that's all you're going to care about. Biology, viruses, anatomy, whatever it is that you're studying, that's all you're going to care about. Honors is here to say, wait a second, slow down. Let's take those blinders off. And let's understand that there are outside forces that can influence the good work that we know you're going to do in your discipline. And those outside influences are going to inform that good work. And we are very confident that going through our honors program, you will have the skills to communicate outward to a larger audience all the cool stuff that you're doing inside your discipline too. If the pandemic taught us anything, it's that we need to know how to talk to people who are in different areas of expertise than we might be. We need to talk through that difference. These seminars, there are a wide variety of topics. And students get to choose the ones that they find the most interesting. So you might not care about music and Hollywood films, although it's a really cool one. You might not care about music and Hollywood films, but Pompeii is something that really tickles your fancy. You can choose Pompeii instead of the music and Hollywood films. You get to choose the topic that's calling to you. And we really hope that you're engaging with something that's outside your comfort zone, that you don't know anything about, because it's a great experience that will help expand the ways in which you can write your story. At the end of the day, really what it boils down to, regardless of what major you're pursuing, we need change, we need innovation in this world. It's necessary, which means that we need creative solutions. Go ahead and advance to the next slide. So we need creative solutions. Honors asks students to slow down. That's a weird thing for us to tell high achieving students. You guys have been going full tilt your entire K through 12 lives. I know it. My daughter is a senior in high school, and I see it on the daily where they just go full tilt. There is no slow down button. Honors is like, okay, you've already proven yourself. You've gotten here. Slow down. Slow down. Embrace ambiguity. Oh, that's scary. Things don't always have to have the right answer. Those spaces that are gray are sometimes the spaces where things happen, where magic happens. So you embrace the ambiguity. Continue to entertain your curiosity. Ask hard questions. Absolutely ask hard questions. But know that they may not have answers. And that's good. That's okay. That's a good space to be. Because asking those questions is going to help really enrich the stories that come from this particular path. None of this comes easily. It is a discovery. It's a process of discovery. Through trial and error, there will be errors, and that's good, because error means that you're growing, you're learning. Failure is actually great fodder for a story. The protagonist always has to have some challenge that they overcome, right? So honors is helping you to develop your story. It's helping you to unfold the ways that you want to do this whole college thing. And that's a really cool place for us to be, is to see what you do with all of this. Now, that's some pretty big, lofty ideologies that honors provides. And I know that you probably want some more tangibles too. So go ahead and advance the slide and I'll give you some other more concrete benefits about the honors program. So here's the tangibles. Yes, we have you work through this curricular path that helps you collect, fulfill university requirements, those gen eds, right? So yeah, we have that going on. We also have residential opportunities for our first year students. So we have honors designated residence halls. One is aptly named honors. Only honors students can live in these honors designated spaces, which is pretty cool. Unfortunately, our program is incredibly popular, and those residential spaces are not necessarily guaranteed. You still have to go through the entire housing process, but they're only afforded to students who are already in the program. And so that just kind of gives you an additional choice, so to speak, of where you might be living and who you might be living with. So we do have those residential opportunities available, not guarantees, opportunities. I really need to stress that, sorry. Other things, we offer a scholarship. You guys work hard, we know it. So just by virtue of you being in this program, we offer you an honors scholarship. It's a $4,000 scholarship paid out $1,000 a year up to 4 years. Really, it's paid out by semester, so $500 a semester up to 8 semesters. And that's just by virtue of you being extended a seat in the program. It's a pretty cool thing. You will have your major advisor. Absolutely. That's an important person on campus who's going to help you navigate this whole thing. However, we also offer an honors advisor, and that's just a slightly, I don't know. it's an added level of support to help you navigate. And my students would be really mad at me if I didn't talk about priority registration. Yes, all honors students register before everybody else on campus. And that's not entirely true. Our honors students register at the same time as athletes. So go CSU for valuing both academics and athletics. Yay, go Rams. Go ahead and advance to the next slide, because I'm sure you guys want to know how to become part of this awesome program that I'm talking about. The application is already open. It is a competitive program, and while many applicants meet that 3.8 GPA eligibility requirement, not all applicants will be offered admission. All applications are reviewed holistically, and we fully consider not just the honors application itself, which is a separate one from CSU. We also will take a look at what you gave to CSU. So we have access to your whole portfolio, so to speak, and we consider it holistically. It's a double-blind review process, which means you are getting all of our attention. But that also means that you have to wait a little while to get your decision. So just be patient with us. We asked the one question, why honors at CSU? And I'm going to give you a little bit of insider advice because you're here, you showed up. We can tell how smart you are based on all of the other information you have at your hands. So use the response to our question of why honors at CSU to really show that you want this program. We do care how smart you are. We want you to be academically motivated and talented. However, we also want you to value the same things that we value. We want you to want to tell a story and engage in those experiences beyond the classroom. So that's, oh, and most importantly, the deadline to apply is February 1st. It's a rolling decision basis. So I encourage you to apply before February 1st. All decisions will be communicated no later than March 31st. If you are extended an offer to participate in our program, you must confirm by May 1st, or you will lose that spot. It is a separate confirmation process from CSU. So you have to confirm to CSU, you have to confirm to honors. And if you don't confirm to honors, we will extend your seat to somebody who is on our wait list, because wait lists are common in our program. And I know that a lot of you guys are Colorado residents, and many of you maybe applied for the Betcher scholarship. So here's a little side note. If you are selected as a Betcher semi-finalist, you don't need to apply to honors. You don't need to submit an application. If you already have, okay, awesome, great, we're still going to consider it. But guess what? Here's the final decision for all Betcher semi-finalists. You're in honors. We will extend you an automatic seat. All you will need to do is confirm that you want to be part of our program. So that's a little sneak peek for the Betchers, Betcher semi-finalists. So I'm happy to entertain more questions at the end. I took up a lot of time, Julia. I'm really sorry. But you can also reach out and contact me at any time, y'all. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Emily. That was really helpful. A lot of information. Yes, please reach out to honors if you have any more questions after this. We'll see if there's time for question and answer at the end. It depends on how long I talk now. So thank you for listening to that. So what I am talking about today is I'm going to talk a little bit about undergraduate research at CSU, and then I'm going to transition into a little bit about financial aid and scholarships at CSU as well. So first, undergraduate research at CSU, you're all invited because you're high achieving students, and we know that high achieving students like to get involved in their university, and maybe you're looking for research. And CSU is a really big research institution. We're a Carnegie Research One institution, and there's a lot of research happening here. And we actually have a whole office for undergraduate research. So it's called the Office for Undergraduate Research, and we call them ORA. So you'll see at CSU, we like our acronyms. There's little names for everything. So that's one of them, ORA. So if I say ORA, I'm referring to that office. And so what is Aura? It's your starting place for undergraduate research at CSU. It's oh, and there's an A. It's undergraduate research and artistry, which I'll define a little bit later. So it's a hub for undergraduates to do research at CSU and find those opportunities on campus that are offered to you. And by doing this, they develop research skills and professional skills in students like you. They help our students connect to research mentors. So all those really professional faculty on campus who are doing research can be mentors to our students. It prepares you with experience needed for your next step after CSU. It allows you to get into graduate school or professional school. And then you get to share work with others through showcases. You get to share that work, all that work that you put into that research and artistry. You can share it through our showcases and also through peer-reviewed journals as well. CSU has the largest undergraduate research support team of any institution in Colorado. We see a lot of other institutions having one support person, but I actually just met with the team that supports our students, and they're also greatly involved in their students' success at CSU. They're here to support it, and there's more than one of them, and so there's more than one person to reach out to. So let's define research and artistry. So research is a systematic investigation contributing original insights to disciplines spanning STEM or science, technology, engineering, and math, social sciences, and humanities. And then another part of that is artistry. So creative expression, deepening human understanding, synthesizing ideas into imaginative, emotionally engaging sensory experiences. And both research and artistry are really important to your academics at CSU and also how you share that information. So there's four things I'm going to kind of cover in the next few minutes. And so you can kind of look at this. So each of these topics I'm going to cover, and I'm going to explain all our fun little acronyms again. So Aura ambassadors, these are students who already have that research and artistry experience who are able to provide peer mentoring for students who are interested in getting involved. So you're, looking at universities, you choose CSU maybe, and you're like, I want to do research. How do I get involved? You can reach out to the Aura ambassadors. They host lunch and learn panels. They have tables on our plaza. Our plaza is like a really big place outside of our student union where students constantly walk through. It's a really fun place to go hang out. And there's also facilitated workshops to help students prepare for circ and murals. Emily kind of already talked about those, and those are hosted by Aura. So I'll talk a little bit more about those a little later. And then there's also the Ask an Ambassador program. And so that's how you get a peer mentor to help you through. 83 students connected last year. That could be one of you. The really hard part about college, I think, is you have to learn how to ask. That means asking for help, asking for experiences, going to professors' office hours. And so this is one of the ways you can ask and you can get involved. And then, of course, we have Celebrate Undergraduate Research or Art and Artistry. And so that's CIRC. It's a really big annual showcase that showcases the creativity and scholarship of undergraduate students. It's a place I love to go. I absolutely love research and communications like that. And so I would always go to learn about all the cool research that all my peers were doing. And then there's also a film festival as well for this year. And so you can kind of see that like all our students, all our colleges are represented. We have 325 students who present. It's a really fun place. And then another part of that is murals. So that's another showcase that we have too. And then our workshops. So what do Aura workshops look like? There's a lot of different ones, but topics include Research 101. So how do you connect with research? Finding a mentor, finding opportunities, how to do circ. Circ is really intimidating if you've never done it. I know I did the murals part of it, but like it was really scary, but we had a mentor who helped us through that. And then also learning those research ethics. How do we ethically engage with research topics and talk to students? Entering research, that also helps you. It's pretty similar as well. And then there's MRAD, so Mentored Research and Artistry Distinction. Kind of like honors, this is one of the only things that could show up on your diploma and your transcript when you graduate, and it can show up there. And it means that you've created or you've done some series of requirements to earn transcript distinction. And now, while we're all talking to, incoming freshmen mainly, you can join this even after your freshman year. So maybe first year, you just want to get involved a little, explore different things, and then get involved in research. This is something you can do later. They have a really cool space, this Mentored Research Artistry Distinction. It's called MRAD. And it's a really cool space that you can go join, learn a lot, connect with others who are interested in research. And then how to get started. So start early. You're doing it already. You're showing up to this. So thank you for showing up. Ask questions via Ask an Ambassador. You're all prospective students. You can still reach out. And then once you get to CSU, attend Aura workshops, apply for the Aura Lab. We're also going to have one at CSU Spur, which is it's our downtown Denver campus as well. They have a lovely Instagram that you can follow, learn more about as you're getting prepped for CSU, learn more about MRAD, and learn more about Circ and Murals. And then if you want to connect with the Aura team, there's their website. So it's tilt at collegestate.edu/Aura. And you can also reach out to Dr. Louise Allen. She's amazing. She always wants to connect and support students as well. Fantastic. Okay, so now I'm going to talk a little bit about financial aid and scholarships. So I am a admissions counselor at CSU. So while I know a lot about financial aid and scholarships, of course, if you have questions after this, I highly recommend reaching out to the Office of Financial Aid. I'm going to share their information at the end as well. So, I know this information, but I'm not the expert. So this is just a brief overview. So some costs. So most of our students here are residents. So this is a thought of costs. You can see there's different category. This is a cost of attendance, and it's estimated based off of previous years. So this is from last year. So there's tuition and general fees, books and supplies, housing, food, transportation, and other educational costs. Those other ones include things like dorm stuff for your dorm, shampoo, deodorant, things like that college students need. Things that we want you to be applying for is the College Opportunity Fund. This is COF. You've probably heard a lot about this as a Colorado resident. This is a stipend that you get that can help reduce resident student tuition. It's something you do have to apply for. You can authorize it at any point, but it mainly happens over the summer. And then what is financial aid? So we talk a lot about financial aid. There's a lot of different things that goes into it, and ways that you can have different types of funds to help pay for college. So these are the four main types of financial aid. So we have grants. These are need-based, so based off your financial need. They're free money, so you just get it as a college student. And then we also have scholarships. That's also free money. It means you don't have to pay it back. And those come from a variety of different sources. Then there's loan. This is not free money. So it's money that you need to be, that needs to be paid back over time with interest. And then there's student employment. So things like work study. You might have heard that word. And it's where you can work part-time to earn wages for personal expenses. And at CSU, that goes into your personal bank account. So you can apply it to any part of the cost of attendance. So things you've probably heard a lot about, FAFSA. What is FAFSA? FAFSA is the federal or the free application for federal student aid. It is open now, so you can actually go submit it this year. And it's something that you complete every year. To be considered for grants, loans, and work study, you do need to apply to the FAFSA. Also very similarly, there's the CASFA. So you either apply to the CASFA or the FAFSA. It depends on if you have a social security number or not. So students who are undocumented can apply for the CASFA to get Colorado state financial aid. So the CASFA stands for Colorado Application for State Financial Aid. It should be available any day now, is what I've been told, and it's how you get institutional and state financial aid. Both of these, we ask that you submit it by March 1st for the priority date. Types of scholarships that you might be considering. There's admissions-based. I'll talk a little bit about ours there. There's institutional, and then there's private. And I'll talk about a little bit of each of those. So first one, Green and Gold scholarships. We just announced our Green and Gold scholarships for Colorado residents. So if you receive the Green and Gold scholarship, you should be checking your email. Our admissions counselors are also texting students with information about this, and then you can find the information in your RamWeb account as well. So it's based on your GPA. There's different reward amounts depending on what that GPA is. And then it can be renewed if you meet criteria, which basically means you continue to be in good standing with CSU. If your GPA will raise soon, you can submit an updated transcript, hopefully in the first month of January. And then other admissions-based scholarships at CSU, that includes the honors ones that Emily was talking about. And then the other types of scholarships at CSU, we have the CSU scholarship application. This is a general scholarship application that opens every year from October 1st to March 1st, and you can submit it as a prospective student. It's competitive departmental CSU scholarships, so those institutional scholarships. It's typically a one-year award, and you can apply each year. And there's a variety of merit and need-based. This is something you can find on your RamWeb, and we do recommend that you fill this out. And while we always talk about this, we do acknowledge that there's not a ton of scholarships in there for freshmen, but it's something that you can really, once you get involved in campus, involved in your major, more opportunities will become available. So just a couple scholarships that I want to cover in the CSUSA. There are so many, so it is kind of up to you to go through them. But a couple of the big ones, we do have our first generation scholarship award. So if you are a first generation student at CSU, which means your parents or guardians don't have a bachelor's degree, you can apply for this. This is applied through the CSUSA, but you can apply as late as April 1st, but that CSUSA does have to be done by March 1st. It's a little confusing. Feel free to reach out to the First Generation Award sponsors to figure that out if you're having trouble with that. And it's a really cool scholarships. Highly recommend applying for it. And then there's also college-specific ones. So a couple that you have probably heard of are like the Walter Scott Jr. undergraduate scholarship. And this is basically a full ride for students. It's a little less than a full ride. It's for residents only, and you get some really cool programs and activities that you get to do through that. The last scholarship that I will talk about, just because I'm on the committee, is our Montfort Scholars. This is awarded to 3 students at CSU, and it fully covers tuition and fees, housing, food, books, and supplies. Transportation and personal expenses can sometimes be covered by other things. It is awarded for up to 4 years, and I highly recommend you fill this out. You can click that on the CSUSA to answer the additional questions. And then finally, private scholarships. This is something that CSU doesn't offer. This is local scholarships to you. Highly recommend looking for outside scholarships to bring to CSU. There are so many third-party sites that will give you money to go to school. And so there's a couple different places you can ask. Your high school counselors are really good contacts, siblings, friends who have gone to college, and things like that. So that is all we have for today. We did take up a bit more time than expected. So I hope you all had fun with that. Here's our contact information. Feel free to reach out. The admissions inbox will not go to me, but you can email me directly as well. But thank you so much for being here. Please reach out to us if you have any more questions. Emily, do you have any last things to say?
Actually, yes, thanks so much. Apparently there was quite a few questions about what if I have a whole lot of college credit already that I'm bringing with me? And how does that translate into honors, especially since, you might have a lot of those gen eds already covered. And so if you guys want the lowdown on a different curricular pathway that honors offers, feel free to hang out and I'll talk about what we call track 2 because we're not very creative right now. if you're like, nope, I'm good, feel free to jet out and don't hesitate to reach out to any of us. We're here to help you. But if you do want to hang out, I'll talk about track 2 just real quickly. I'm gonna see if I can share my screen. Oh wait, nope, I can't share my screen.
Let me stop sharing mine and then you should be able to.
Okay.
We'll see.
We'll see. All right, now let's see if I can. Okay, cool. All right, so I talked about track 1, where you go through this series of 5 seminars, and I didn't call it track 1. I talked about our curricular program as going through the series of seminars and taking a couple of honors courses in your discipline, and then capping it off with a thesis. And that's our track 1 pathway. And you can see that kind of laid out kind of at a glance here on our website. With the honors seminars, you would take a total of 5 of those seminars, 2 in your first year, 1 in fall, 1 in spring, and then 1 every year after. And then you take these things called, we're not entirely sure what to call them, departmental honors courses. And these can be a lot of different things. Typically what they are is it's some sort of a standalone course in a major, in a department, that is only for honors students. So it might be something like Biology 101, but it's just for honors students. So even though everybody else pursuing a biology degree is having to take that class, there's a special section just for you guys. So that's one way that you can get these departmental honors courses, or these honors courses, satisfied. There could be a breakout section where, yeah, you're in the regular lecture with everybody, with 400 of your closest friends, but once a week, only the honor students break out for about an hour and have some sort of special time with the instructor. Maybe they go on field adventures. Maybe they do an extra book study. Maybe they do some extra research. Maybe they just, I don't know, engage with the content a little bit more deeply than what's going on in class. You can actually elevate any class that you take at CSU that's not designated as honors. You can elevate it as an honors contract course. So basically, if you like a class that you're taking, you can work with that instructor and say, hey, I really like what we're doing. I would like to elevate this and make it an honors course. And you and your instructor reach some sort of a conclusion of what that elevation looks like. And then you submit a contract, and I get to look at that. And as long as it's not a ridiculous amount of work, I'll approve it. And that course becomes an honors course for you. And so in those kinds of ways, you're working through your major or your minor, or just, I don't know, coursework that is somehow or another benefiting your academic experience. You're working through that coursework and you're fulfilling honors program requirements. Now I'm talking about that all in the guise of track 1, because you have to understand track 1 to really understand track 2. Because what track 2 does is it flips the script. And instead of the emphasis being on those seminars where you're earning the gen ed requirement, or the gen ed requirements, instead of doing the emphasis being there, you're putting the emphasis on those honors courses. And so you're going to be taking 18 credits worth of those honors courses, which is coursework done in your majors, in your minors, in something that's academically related to something that you're going to benefit from at CSU. 18 of those credits can count as honors program requirements. You take 2 seminars. Every one of you is going to start your career as a track 1 student. Then you can apply to switch to track 2 by just going through our honors advisors. And if you get into track 2, you will take a sophomore level seminar as well. So you'll start with that 192 the fall semester of your first year, and then you'll take a 292 probably sometime your sophomore year. And then most of the emphasis, though, is on those departmental honors courses, the stuff that you're doing it for your major. And so in that way, you're still getting a taste of that interdisciplinary approach to education, and you're not adding more time to your educational journey here at CSU, because you've already put in a lot of time and you're bringing lots of those credits with you. And we don't want you to duplicate work. Our business is not to make you stay here longer than you have to stay here. We just want to make the most of the time we have with you. So we have these kind of flexible pathways. And every student is different. So it's not like this cut and dry, yeah, you can start in track 1 and definitely switch to track 2. No, every student is different. And so you sit down with one of the honors advisors, and they're going to go through your transcript, and they're going to go through what you're bringing in and how it's coming to CSU. And they're going to see if it makes sense for you and your situation. And if it does, then you get to go into track 2. One is not better than the other. It's just different ways to get to the same place. And that place is graduation from CSU with a heck of a story in your back pocket. So that's a little bit about track 2. Ames, Emma, did I cover those questions okay? Do I need to cover some more?
I think I saw the questions. I think you've covered it. Great. Thank you.
Okay, cool. And we are happy to talk more about those differences and get into more of those curricular weeds with you. Happy to do that. Yeah, it's just a lot. So I already talked for a long time.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much, everybody, for showing up. I'm going to end the webinar now. But like I said, if you have any questions, reach out to the admissions office, reach out to the financial aid office, reach out to the honors office. We're here to support you. Thank you.
Bye, everyone.